What up, what up, what up? It's your boy JB coming back at you live and direct, man. Welcome back to the channel. I had to jump on here to get on our boy Stephen A. Smith again, man. If you hadn't already, mash that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn that bell for notifications, man. We are about to get into this thing because Stephen A. Smith is being called a sellout again. Guys, I don't think anybody else has had a worse couple weeks than Stephen A. Smith. And it all started when Stephen A. Smith went on Sean Hannity's show to talk about the election of 2024. Okay? Now, guys, I'm going to try to make this video as short as possible, but it's a lot to unpack here. Stephen A. has been on his heels ever since that interview. Now, clearly, I watch CNN, I watch Fox, I watch MSNBC. I follow a lot of content creators on YouTube, both liberal media and conservative media on YouTube, just so you can be informed when you get up here on these videos and give an opinion. I'm not an expert on anything. I just know a little about a lot. And so there's a lot more smarter people out there than me. And I learned that early in my career. Now, why am I saying this to you guys? Stephen A. Smith, people didn't watch his video, to be fair to him. People didn't watch the Sean Hannity clip in its totality. And D.L. Hewley is coming after him. Stephen Jackson called him the P word, right? D.L. Hewley is his frat brother and came out against him. And one of the things, if y'all watch Stephen A.'s most recent video on the Stephen A. Smith show on YouTube, he said one person, though, made him, it made him want to cry. And that was Karen Hunter, who he said was with him when he first walked into the profession and held her arm around him to welcome him into the profession. And he said when his mother died, when he turned around as his mom's casket was being lowered into the grave, he said she was right there for him again. But after the bad 2 weeks that Stephen A. is having, he said, I done called her, she ain't calling me back. I done texted her, no response. But more importantly, Karen Hunter has a show on Sirius XM. And they were bashing Stephen A. on it. And what Stephen A. doesn't realize is the African American community is different when you come out here in these YouTube streets, in these Spotify streets, in these Apple Music streets. It's different than when you're sitting on ESPN on TV. And look, man, he got a lot more subscribers than me, got a lot more influence than me, probably will never see this video. But the one thing I've had to learn is when you come into this content creation sphere, this space, you better be ready for the arrows to come out. I love when I get comments and you don't know these people, but you know what? You look at their point and it's valid. And the number one thing that's happening in Stephen A. Smith is he's not getting the benefit of the doubt anymore. Why? You're not the hungry guy who went up against Big House Gaines in Winston-Salem State no more. You're not the guy who reported for the Philadelphia Inquirer on the 76ers beat, just struggling to make ends meet. You're not that guy anymore. You're the highest paid guy at ESPN, or one of the highest paid guys at ESPN. You ain't getting the benefit of the doubt out here in these YouTube streets. So why is he being called a sellout? He's being called a sellout over this Trump thing. This Trump thing is not going to let him go. And the worst thing he did was he apologized for it. And he apologized to people who didn't even see the clip. Everything in social media, guys, everything on this YouTube content creation platform, we go off of the edits, right? So you go off of what's been clipped up. This is why it's important. Before I come out here, I try to make sure I make time to watch everything in its totality so that I can give you guys a video that's worth watching. Now, why am I saying this? Stephen A. Smith clearly has political aspirations, but Stephen A. Smith also knows that the sports landscape has changed. And he has to get his message out to people. And y'all got to understand that what First Take averages 500,000 viewers or something like that a day. Stephen A. Smith has 650,000 subscribers, I think. So he still has an impact. He still has people who want to hear from him and that kind of thing. Why am I saying this to you guys? Stephen A. will never shake this sellout label as long as he's on YouTube. These guys are coming back at him. These guys don't have any respect for him. What Stephen A. Jackson, why do I keep calling him that? Stephen Jackson called this man the P word and told Matt Barnes that I ain't gonna mess with this guy no more. I'm done with him. Called him a snitch. I mean, he came at him, and according to Stephen A., he called him to be on the show. Stephen Jackson wouldn't pick up his phone. Right? His mentor, Karen, she won't pick up his calls, and that's what you guys got to understand. When you the highest paid person, stop trying to connect with those people who didn't rise at the same level as you. There's nothing you can say to them. You can apologize all day. Stephen A. has ascended to a level where he has a voice that most of these people he trying to debate with will never be able to understand his position. Right? At the end of the day, all of us have somebody we report to. So between the Russell Westbrook snitching incident, the Donald Trump comment on Sean Hannity show, Stephen A. Smith messed up on this interview, in my opinion, because he tried to justify, defend, and explain instead of realizing this is content creation. That's all it is. Everybody's not going to agree, but you literally said Stephen A. literally said that Stephen Jackson should have called him, but yet he blasted Deion Sanders' son in the video I put out about him being mad that Shador is doing this. I said, Stephen A., you should have called Deion and said that to him. You don't put that on social media first without calling Deion. You called out Deion's son, and now you want different respect coming back towards you. And every time somebody attacks you, you can't keep saying I'm a journalist. You can't keep saying, this is my job and blah, 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 blah. Y'all got to understand, Stephen A. Smith going to have to decide where he wants to be. He ain't going to be able to do this tightrope anymore. Okay? Either you want to be in these YouTube streets, or you want to kind of stay over there at ESPN where you're not going to get challenged like this, because you can't reply like these guys can reply. These guys have been given free reign over everything they do because they're not worried about the brand of ESPN. You don't have that luxury. Man, just put your content out there and let it go. But I'm tired of seeing you coming on, and I'm a Stephen A. Smith fan, but you're coming on YouTube trying to explain your positions because you got to understand people have the right to have their opinions in these platforms, okay? Now, you have some valid points. But you got to recognize that D.L. Hughley is saying what he's saying so he can get clicks. Stephen Jackson is saying what he's saying so he can get clicks. We're all in the click business. But I'm going to say something to y'all that's probably not going to be popular for a lot of people. Stephen A. ain't been right since Pat McAfee came on the ESPN. Stephen A. Smith saw what Pat McAfee has done, and he can't duplicate it. He's also seeing what Club Shay Shay has done, and it's hard for him to duplicate it. Why am I saying this to you guys? These boys understand the content creation platform. Stephen A. Smith's still trying to figure it out. Stephen A. Smith comes on like he's still trying to be on First Take, but he's also trying to be a political commentator that you see on Fox or CNN or MSNBC. And I don't know if it's having the impact that he wants to have. He's a debate guy, which means whenever he's by himself, the impact is not as good. But when he's with somebody, like when he goes on the Sean Hannity show, it's great TV. But the problem is the NAACP came against him. Now a lot of people in the black community is coming against him. Pat McAfee built his content creation first, and ESPN begged him. Stephen A. can't compete because ESPN made Stephen A. He's the top paid guy at ESPN. And now he can't play by the same rules that everybody else can in his content creation. That's why Stephen A. needs to stop justifying, defending, and explaining, and stop trying to prove your blackness, bruh. Black people ain't going to agree. That's what makes black people unique. Good luck impressing all black people. It just ain't going to happen. And that don't make black people bad and white people good. What you got to understand is that your culture has the right to criticize you. That's just what we do. And you accept the criticism because the criticism is only going to come from people who have less than you, not more than you. And because you're one of the highest paid guys out here in this media space, stop trying to justify it, man. If they don't like your opinion, cool. Let's go on to the next topic. Now, I like the fact that you had Matt Barnes on to debate it. If y'all going to duke it out over the debate. But if they're not willing to debate you, why talk about it? Pat McAfee is what Stephen A. is chasing. Club Shay Shay is what Stephen A. is chasing. And if y'all think I'm bull jiving, Stephen A. has not been right since Pat McAfee came to ESPN. Pat McAfee is telling ESPN what to do. Remember, they got that producer fired because he started talking about the ratings of Pat McAfee's show on ESPN. Stephen A. got to ask for permission by ESPN before he can come after Jason Whitlock, before he can respond to any of y'all criticism. And guess what? The streets know it. The streets know it. He got to be careful, because is he trying to lose $12 million arguing with Steven Jackson? Because he don't have that monetization yet on YouTube. You can see he's headed to it. And that's why he's got to do the politics thing. That's why you see him, right? We're not even talking about the Bakari Sellers part. The Bakari Sellers guy called him Samuel Jackson's character from the Django Unchained. Black people are rejecting Stephen A. Smith, and it is killing Stephen A. Smith. Because one thing as a black person is you don't want to be in that category of you ain't black or you an Uncle Tom. It's killing Stephen A. Smith. But he don't realize these YouTube streets different. Now, I ain't even on his level, and I look at some of the comments I get. The majority of people hate you on YouTube, and that's just the burner accounts. That's the burner accounts that reply to you. Stephen A. Smith got to learn. White people do things different, which is why Pat McAfee has the leverage he has. Black people, guys, we are different when it comes to how we evaluate our people. I may not rock with Stephen A., but I'm going to listen to Stephen A. I may not agree with you, right? But it's just, man, it's barbershop talk. It's barbershop talk. It's what we do. But Stephen A. has to understand, don't reply to it, because at the end of the day, the first thing you get taught, never justify, defend, and explain. And definitely don't apologize. Don't apologize. Why would you apologize for what you said about the Donald Trump voter on Fox News? Y'all notice ain't nobody from Fox News complaining about that video. Fox News has moved on. But why is it that you got to be able to have discussions about polarizing topics in the black community without it becoming personal and that kind of thing? Guys, let's use this platform to debate it out. If somebody got a problem with my take, I'd love to have them on to debate it with me, because I'm all about learning. That's how I learned growing up. But Stephen A. cannot come back at y'all like y'all know he can't come back. He worked for ESPN, and ESPN is telling him, hey man, be careful. He knows that over his shoulder, but he just having a rough 2 weeks. I don't think Stephen A. is ever going to be welcome back in the black community like he wants to be. I don't care if you're a New York Knicks fan. I don't care if you're a New York Knicks fan. I don't care how much you like the Yankees. I don't care how much you like the Steelers. Excuse me, I got to light back up. I don't care how much you like the Steelers. At the end of the day, guys, this podcast space, this YouTube space, the rules are different. And I think Stephen A. is used to having ESPN, that platform, where he says his piece and he can choose who replies to him. I think I applaud him for trying to reply to people and show his street cred still, and he's still black and all this kind of stuff, and he understands the plight of the black man. Stephen A., let it go, brother. Just put your content out there and let us enjoy it. But replying to these guys who know you can't fight back the way you want to fight back, and you keep telling these guys to come see you at your face, y'all gonna see each other at basketball games in a VIP suite, man. Ain't no struggle there. Y'all know, ain't nothing gonna happen when you see Steven Jackson and all this kind of stuff. Like you ain't got to do that at your level. People ain't tuning in for you to see, for you to prove to us how strong you are, how tough you are. People are coming in for your take. We on YouTube because we not fighting. We on Spotify because we not fighting. Ain't none of us fighting like that. All of us out here gotta be politically correct so the channel don't get shadow banned. So guys, let's stop, man. Is he a sellout? That's for you to decide. If he's a sellout, that's for you to decide, and that's how you process his information. If he's not a sellout, that's how you decide and how you process his information. But at the end of the day, guys, it's getting personal. And when it starts getting personal, man, just focus on your content. I don't want to see you go back and forth with Steven Jackson and D.L. Hewlett. They fighting for the same clicks you already have. They fighting for a platform you already have. Man, look, y'all get down in the comment section. Is Jeff crazy? Is Jeff on to something? What y'all think about Stephen A? Again, I hate long videos like this, but I had to unpack this thing because that was a 2-hour video, man. Go watch it. It was actually sad to watch Stephen A. Smith do it because that thing got under his skin. And once you to show people they got under your skin, more and more attacks gonna come like this. Stephen A. still want to be accepted by the black community, and unfortunately, I think the people he wants acceptance for are continuing to be disinterested in it. And I think the more he decides he's going to build his Stephen A. Smith show and do the politics thing, when you making $12 million a year, you don't think like some people think, bruh. And it's just time to accept it. It's just time to accept it. So either you lose everything and be accepted by people, or either you say, all right, it is what it is. Some people are not going to like me, and you move on. Y'all do me a favor, man. Google what Chris Christie just said about Stephen A. Smith. Chris Christie just said Stephen A. Smith going to be running for president one day. Well, right now, Stephen A. Smith got to go through that process where he doesn't get offended by somebody not agreeing with him and calling him a snitch, calling him an Uncle Tom, calling him the character from the Django Unchained, all that stuff so they can get clicks. Okay, Stephen A., you are a magnet for it. I do a lot on Deion Sanders. Why? That's what people are talking about. Why am I doing this on Stephen A.? Because you're a person that people are talking about. Some of us report on you. You're actually the reporter. Bruh, there's no way you can win on this one, so just put your content out. Again, man, y'all get down in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about it, man. Is Jeff crazy? Stephen A. Smith crazy? What do you think about Stephen A. Smith? For me, guys, I think it's getting too serious, and I think it's getting too personal. And you come on YouTube, man, to consume content just to be able to spark debate. That's all it is. But when it starts getting personal, and I ain't, I'm gonna keep it real, and I ain't gonna talk to you for this, I ain't gonna talk to you for that, and you fake and you're selling. Now we bringing this street thug stuff that ain't never worked for us. We bringing it onto these platforms, and all that's happening is we getting shadow banned, or you're gonna get cut off by your advertisers. You're gonna lose money on YouTube. So the person who makes the least by keeping it real is now the person you look up to. Can't work like that, man. Again, if y'all hadn't already, mash that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell for notifications. Again, get down in the comment section. Follow me on the socials, man. And until next time, we gonna holler.